Hello, gentle viewers. This is Guardian welcoming you back to Out of the Park Baseball 24 with the Korean Baseball Organization and the NC Dinos. In our previous episode, we completed the off season, and let's talk a little bit about the changes made to the lineup. In a very real sense, this is basically last year's lineup, with very few exceptions. One exception is Jin Hyun Kim. Our previous center fielder got posted and was actually purchased, so that's one new change. And then we have Mr. Jung Hwan Han playing as our second baseman because to begin the season, we don't have Minwoo Park for a few months. So that is our lineup. A lot of Parks and Kims. That's pretty standard for the course. So our pitching staff, we're still waiting for Shangmo Ku to recover from last season's injury. Yeah, I think it's fair to ask if he'll ever be effective again, given that we've got 100 innings from him exactly one time. And 100 innings isn't that hard to achieve, one would think, so this is kind of a bummer. But here we are. Other than that, Mr. Lee was a pretty effective starter for us last season. Wante Choi was a free agent acquisition. We wanted to get, a trade acquisition. He's going to be interesting. I don't know how well a pitcher that doesn't strike people out is going to work in the KBO, but we're going to try it. Jae Young Jang was a reliever last year, but we're letting him try being a starter. I am concerned about this. We're going to keep a very close eye on his walk rate. I think the rest of his skill set is good enough that he can probably strike enough people out that the walks won't matter as much, but it is something we're going to have to keep a very close eye on. Junho Lee has been a pitcher of ours for a couple seasons. He too made the transition from rotation to starter. He's going to be a full-time starter. This is the one to be concerned about here. We're going to have to watch out home run rate. If that starts to spike, then we're going to have to concern us. Interesting. It doesn't have the little pop-up, the little tooltip that explains what each one of these things means. Which is very interesting, but we'll think about that. And then Min Hyuk Shin, who has been kind of a workhorse. He's thrown lots of innings each year. He's never been particularly spectacular, but he's been pretty solid. I certainly can't complain too much about him. The bullpen is quite similar to years past, although certainly not the same. Our star closer, who was last year's reliever of the year, joins us to anchor the bullpen. We have Mr. Sung-Hyun Han, who was a starter a couple years ago and was reasonably decent at it, but for me, the reason I decided to put him back in the pen is this. 1 second. What I mean by that is he's a side armor, and funky arm deliveries work best when you don't see them as often. And given how awesome he was last year out of the pen, I think keeping him in the pen makes a ton of sense. We have Mr. Jung Yeon Hyun, who's also been a reliever for us in the past and done a bit of starting here and there. Young Woo Shin, we're giving him his first proper season in the pen. He says he has a ceiling of being a starter, which I can kind of see. He's certainly got the raw ratings necessary to achieve reasonable success. I'm a bit worried he's only got 1+ pitch right now, but he could have up to 3. So I'm good with that. Dongsu Park this is going to be his first chance in the majors at all. Another side armor. A lot of funky arm deliveries in the KBO, which I'm just noticing now. Um, that's going to play an interesting role in how things work. Hoon Jeon is one of our bright young stars that just needs some reps in the majors. I love lefty screwball pitchers. First of all, screwballs aren't in the majors anymore. I don't even think any current major league pitcher throws one that I can recall. The last pitch off the top of my head I remember that threw a screwball with some frequency is Dallas Braden, who pitched for the A's, and I think the White Sox. I know he pitched for the A's. I don't remember where he went after he was done with the A's. But it's a really hard pitch to throw. It fucks up your elbow like nobody's business. But it's a cool pitch. Now, Mr. Jean here could be a starter, if not for his stamina. But we're going to let him pitch and show us what he can do. Because this is just a nightmare pitcher to face. He's left-handed, so weird arm angle. And he throws a cutter, a changeup, and a screwball. Basically, nothing is straight coming out of him. That's going to make him so hard to hit. Like, I'm picturing this, Korean man standing on the mound, and every pitch moves, and just thinking of how much that would make me cry if I were a hitter. Like, he could be a filthy pitcher for a very long time to come. But now he has to prove it in the majors. Lastly, Yoon Dong-hyo is probably first man up if we lose a starter. He's been a reasonably good starting pitcher, certainly in the innings category. But I want to try him in the pen for now, because I do want to give some of these younger guys a chance to do what they can. That's it. That's what's changed since last season. We have 2 new starting position players, at least for now. We have one big decision to make at the end of this season. Do we keep Kunwoo Park? Now, we're not coming to a decision until around the trade deadline, but there's a few things we have to consider about him as the season progresses. First of all, for the most part, he's been a rock. He has been healthy, and he has done the thing he's supposed to do, which is hit for average. That is his great strength. He has been competent at hitting baseballs. He has a little bit of power, a little bit of on-base percentage, and a little bit of strikeouts. See, this tooltip works. I wonder why the pitching ones don't. Anyway. I think Mr. Park, given his lengthy career, has a decent chance of making the Hall of Fame. However, I don't know whether he's going to keep playing for the KBO. He has a .315 career batting average, and yet his first full season under 300 was the season before. And then he dropped a little bit lower the next year. If we take a look at his BABIP, that's also dropped. It looks like he's one of these guys that tends to be a lot higher, but for whatever reason, he's slipping. This is probably why. Mr. Park here isn't seeing the ball as well as he used to in his youth. I mean, who of us is? And so we have to consider very strongly whether it's worth bringing him back. If we take a look at his contract demands, he wants to get a raise. And I just don't think that's smart. I don't think that's smart, especially given our fairly limited salary base. And the fact that these 3 combined are, like, most of our player payroll. I just think it makes sense to probably let Park and Davidson both walk. Maybe not Davidson, we'll have to think about that. Somebody pointed out that Davidson was worthless in the postseason, so that's something to consider as well. But so yeah, we're gonna strongly consider how he's doing at the end of the season. Maybe he has one last gasp, but I don't think we're gonna keep him. I don't think that's a smart allocation of our resources. Um, this contract here is a giant fucking millstone, but I can't do anything about it until he's actually healthy enough to feature. He's such a good pitcher, and he has been for us, but the fact he just keeps getting hurt, not ideal. Who among my players is the most likely one to be worth our next $1 million contract? No is most certainly high on that list. But he needs to actually perform the level we expect from him. A 241 batting average from his talent level is absurd. This is a guy who should be hitting 270s up to the 300s with relative regularity. So that's got to get better. That's one thing he has to work on. The other player who looks like he's going to be demanding a big salary relatively soon is going to be Ju-Won Kim, excuse me. He's a really interesting player because he's already proven to be a very skilled hitter. And he certainly plays third base well enough that I'm not concerned about it. I know he's not, say, the greatest defender in the history of the KBO, but he doesn't have to be. He just has to be league average or above, and we'll be perfectly content with that. But yeah, he seems like a pretty strong candidate to keep his to stick around on a decent sized contract. Wante Choi, we'll see how he performs and maybe talk about an extension for him. His extension demands are actually pretty reasonable. Maybe I just do that now. I'm not going to guarantee him the rotation. That part I won't do, but I will give him a 2-year extension. It's such a light contract that if it turns out he doesn't work out, then I'm not giving you a rotation spot. Yeah, I'm not guaranteeing that for you. I don't believe in guaranteeing stuff for players that haven't been exceptional. But yeah, that's kind of where we are. Let's play some baseball. If we're going to struggle anywhere, I think we're going to struggle to score runs again. That's consistently been our biggest issue, our biggest challenge as a team, is in scoring runs consistently. Mostly because we don't have a lot of contact hitters, which is something we're going to want to address as the years go on. Oh, that's lame. I didn't ask him to be hurt. Man, fuck you, Ji-Hoon Yuk. Don't hit baseballs against me. That's illegal. Okay, getting Kubak is pretty amazing. So the question is, who do we send down? It's not going to be Lee. Lee's actually been fairly consistent. He's probably just off to a slow start. Like, it's got to be Zhang, right? I think it is going to be Zhang. So who goes to the minors is the first question. Let me send you back to the mine. Oh, or we could send down Han. Yeah, let's send down Han. Mr. Ku comes back. Ku is gonna take Zhang's rotation spot. And then Zhang is gonna shift into being a full-time middle reliever that's used more often. Because I think there, his lack of control will be less exposed. So we're gonna try that out and see how that works. Technically Ku should be the ace. We're going to make him the number 2 to start the season, though, and then we'll move him up again if it's appropriate. Okay, let's send the rest of the month. Yang Ha Choi has a sprained ankle. That's fine. Nice. And No was injured to begin the season. That's wonderful news, so we can have him back. Kim easily gone. Like, that's not even a hard question. So the real question is, where does No play? Because he's got to play. Like, he's way too good to not play. We could play him in center. He's not the worst choice for that position to play center, and I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bench Mr. Kim here and play No in center. We're never going to bat him higher in the lineup, for certain, because he's got that much talent. We're going to bat him 6th for now. And then regenerate the depth chart, please. I don't want to overreact, but he definitely hasn't played well so far. And given that Choi's skill set is quite valuable, even though the thing is he's not as good as second baseman. So that's the problem we're running into. I can have a good hitter or a good defender, but I can't have both. I'm going to go with this job share. I'm going to let Choi start regularly and see where that gets us. We're going to simulate until beginning of May. We really need to see development from our youngsters in the minors. So one of the things that's interesting about the KBO is that your talent pool is limited. This is partly because there just aren't that many teams. But it's also because the players that are there are very easy to keep. Yes, Mr. Park would like an extension. I'm sure you would appreciate an extension. Just looking at broad trends, we're actually scoring quite well this year. Our starters are struggling a little bit. But overall, I think there's a lot to like about how the season has started. But it is true we don't have top-tier talent as starting pitchers. We just don't right now. So I think the best thing we can do is just play another month and see where that gets us. And see what we're able to come away with as the season progresses. I don't want to make any drastic moves yet, because I really don't have enough data on most of these pitchers. None of whom have pitched more than 50 innings, I suspect. Yeah, they're all worried about the 25-28 range. Do we have an intriguing young prospect here? Dongjin Lee is probably overqualified. I'm hoping for this to improve, but if it doesn't, Mr. Lee does have a reasonably high chance. Sung Hyun Han is actually pretty decent too. Potentially. All right, let's go ahead and simulate through another month of the season. We can have Young Ha Choi back. I'm just going to send him to the minors for right now. Or am I? I mean, Mr. Choi has never had a chance to actually pitch for the majors. I think we're going to send him to the minors for the moment. Just for the moment. I think the pitching is really struggling this season. I don't love that. Pitching isn't easy to find. The thing is, I've got a lot of pitchers that are all roughly the same talent level. So while I can definitely shuffle around the deck chairs, I can't. Like, we're not going to get an internal improvement to our pitching staff. I don't see a drastic improvement pitching wise on this roster. Especially the bullpen is performing at a reasonably high level, and especially if we don't have a starter that's willing to take the leap. But we'll see here. Alright, some players are getting better. Hae-young Kim's potential is improving. I like seeing the potential spike. That's very nice, but I need overall. I don't need potential. Yang Ha Choi. I just said the one thing he needs to do is more velocity, and he's delivering on that. Good. Min-Hak Shin is throwing harder. That's pretty solid. Alright, so now let's look and see how bad it is the pitching this season. It's not great. Our rotation is actually really bad this year. The bullpen is more or less fine. But yeah, we definitely need to shuffle some things around here. We need to make some sort of meaningful change. We're going to be in a lot of trouble. Let's look at Young Joon Lee first. See, this is what I find frustrating. He's got good control, but he's walking hitters at a comically high rate. That can't persist. I don't see that being possible, especially when in the past he's done a lot better with this. So I think Lee will figure it out. Koo. I think Koo also just needs some time. Yeah, Wante Choi. Actually, I guess I should be checking defense. That could be the issue. Especially as a big difference between FIP and... let's check that out, actually. I want pitching stats. No, people are being aided by our defense. Which is troubling. Oh no, it is. Yeah, these tips are a lot lower. I'm looking at the wrong order. So when FIP is lower than ERA, like look at this. That usually means bad defense. Now that seems odd, right? Because as we're looking here, zone rating is quite low. Where are we struggling defensively? Okay. So, No is probably the biggest issue. He's not a center fielder. I think we kind of knew that, but he's almost cost us a win with his bad defense. We have to get him out of center field. And if we want to keep him in the lineup, that means somebody else has to go. So that's problem one that we need to solve immediately. Jung Wan Han has also not been very good. And if he's going to hit this badly and play such bad defense, I'd rather play Choi and at least get one of those things at a reasonable level. We probably need a new second baseman, though. So we need to fix these two areas. Once we do, the rest of this will really settle in nicely. So, we need a roster spot for No that is not in center field. I think for now we bench Siwon Park. So let's do that first. Okay, so No's going to play in right field now. So who plays in center? That's the real question. Kim at least has the defense and has the potential to be an okay hitter. So let's go ahead and make that happen. So who's going to lead off now? Also, Cho is really struggling this year. From our best player to one of our worst. So clearly there's also room for the offense to grow too. So we're going to go ahead and pop Park here and No here. And then Mr. Siwon Park will be replaced by Ji-Hyun Kim. And that's the center field debacle sorted. And then we'll regenerate depth charts when we're done with the other issue, which is second base. I need a good second baseman. And the answer to that might be this little fellow here. Mr. Kim is an amazing second baseman, but he's still very, very young, and I don't think he's ready for the big leagues yet. He would be a massive defensive upgrade. What I'm less sure about is his offensive skill. Granted. This fucker here is a dumpster fire. Like, he is doing literally nothing right this season. He's playing bad defense and he's hitting poorly as well. You would fix the defense. But if we're going to play a bad hitter, I'd rather give the youngster a chance to shine in the major leagues. When's the last scouting report you had? Your potential is getting better, but we're not seeing your offense get much better. Park is still out for 2 more months. I mean, Park is obviously the solution to this problem, is getting our dude back. You're fairly sure-handed, but you don't have very much range. That's the issue we're running into. And I don't know the solution to that. I don't think that player exists on this roster. So what we could do... let's take all these fucking losers and cut them. Just release them. There you go. I genuinely don't have any middle infielders ready for the big leagues other than Kim. And even Kim is saying a lot. Kim would fix the defense situation right now. But I've seen no evidence that he can hit yet. He is getting better. Like, his first season was a bit of a dumpster fire. Last year wasn't great, but he definitely has rebounded to hit much better this season. I've got to see more before I can trust him in the majors. Now, the other argument, of course, is that, well, Han hasn't done anything either. And we know he's a liability defensively. I'm going to trade Han, and I'm going to try to get us a new infielder. I will add salary if we can find it. Okay. Woo-Jun Kim is not terribly thrilling. Not a good defender. This is kind of a good old-fashioned challenge trade, but I think he's a better fit. So far, Mr. Seung-Won Kim is the current winner. Yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna acquire this gentleman and let him be our second baseman. We're gonna do trade. I'll ask for something else, but you're probably gonna laugh in my face. Oh damn! Oh, I like you a lot. I wonder if I could get you. No, that's fair. No, we're not gonna get stupid about it. I'm just gonna make that trade. And he instantly gets the second base job. We're gonna let him second base it up and see where that gets us. Okay. That should patch the defense up quite nicely, getting us both a better center fielder and a better second baseman. Now, Mr. Kim here is certainly not an elite center fielder, but he is at least an average one. And that's better than we were getting from No, who was significantly below average. Give me some new depth charts. You really want me to play fucking Choi, don't you? I think once every 5 games is fine. I don't want to play him more frequently than that. Okay, pitching staff. Let's see how an improved defense maybe fixes some of these pitchers in another month. And then we can go from there and determine if we solved the problem or not. Like, Choi is the biggest... No, sorry, not Choi. Where is he? Lee is the biggest concern for me. While his defense behind him might not have been great, etc., etc., this is ridiculous. A spike in walk rate is never good. Like, that's not what a good pitcher does. So we're gonna have to hope that he can figure it out here in the second half. The other thing to consider is calling up one of our younger pitchers. Like, the fact is that Han has some upside left, but I'm not willing to call him up yet. But I do think he is a very high probability of getting a spot. Okay, so the changes have been made. Let's see if we can capitalize on that with some better defense, and maybe my pictures won't look so bad. Or just drop 17 spots. That's fine. That's totally fine. Yeah, we do need high level pitchers. We basically have an entire rotation of like number 2 pitchers, maybe number 3s. And of course, it wouldn't be a season with Koo without him getting hurt again. So next man up is going to be Mr. Han here, and we're just going to chuck him right into the rotation. I'm not going to keep Van Meteren. I'm going to go ahead and cut him, and we're going to try to get a better starting pitcher, like a good foreigner. I think that seems reasonable. Pay it now. Yes, it doesn't show the hitting ratings of the pitchers. Oh my god, you know their pitching ratings, fuckos. And I need starting pitchers. I would love to get Ranger Suarez. I wonder if he would consider joining us, or if he's going to be like, nope, yeah, you're not interested. Let's go to the default screen. I think that's more valuable, because it'll tell us whether players are willing to be signed at all. Freddie Tarnock is pretty good. So is Drew Irvine. Yeah, let's get Freddie here. Let's get Steady Freddie. Yeah, we'll do it. I'll give him a 1-year deal. But I'm not going to sign him beyond that. This is just trying to patch this year's rotation. Alright, so the fans are delighted about keeping Freddie Tarnock, or getting him rather. Where'd he go? Oh, right, because you just put that one guy on the IL. Okay. I think Lee's the one to ship to the bullpen. So that's what we're going to do. Mr. Freddie Tarnock is going to go there, and you're going to go there. I don't have any traditional setup guys this season. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make Hunjan that setup guy. And the rest of you will just see what happens as the season progresses. Actually, who's Johnny Walks a Lot? Oh, it's Lee, isn't it? We'll wait But Lee might also be going to the bullpen. But so we have Freddie Tarnock now. That should hopefully keep us in reasonably good shape. Let us advance in time to the end of June. Nice. He wants more fans. One of the things I don't like, okay, the owner goal to increase attendance is fucking stupid. Because I cannot increase attendance. I have no power over that. The only thing I can do is lower ticket prices. That's it. And I think it's really obscene, or not obscene, sorry, absurd that, like, the general manager's job is not to sell tickets. That's what the other parts of front office are for. Coaches. We have reasonably good chemistry. Let's just keep the staff together. I don't really see any huge benefit to not keeping them. Extension, and then I could probably do with a new team trainer, actually. Because you're only good at rehabbing arm injuries. You don't have a lot of other benefits to you. So I think upgrading team trainer is fair. I think that's fair. Yeah, we've got to start. I'm seeing an improvement of late, which is good. I appreciate that. But we need to stop giving up like 6, 7 runs a game. That's not going to be sustainable. It's going to be a bad time once the postseason rolls around. Okay, some improvements are being made. Very good. Minwoo Park is getting worse. I guess that's not terribly shocking. Wante Choi would like to come back. I would bring him back if he would accept the salary I was going to offer him. Like, the thing is, I'm not guaranteeing you a rotation spot. That's where I draw the line. No, I will give you a rotation spot. Yeah. He's a good enough pitcher, and it's for a low enough amount of money that I think it does make sense to keep him around. Alright. We're doing better. We're doing better. I do think the defense has improved, which is good. We're still struggling to pitch effectively, consistently, though. Two of the starters have started turned around. Both Choi and Han are pitching at a decent level. Tarnock is struggling quite badly. I have to hope he'll figure it out. And it's only 3 starts, so who actually knows if he's good or not. The bullpen doesn't have a ton of great pitching performances this season. I mean, Juan is killing it, so I'm definitely not getting rid of him. Who is our lowest performing pitcher? Our reliever, just to shake things up a bit. It's Young Woo Shin. Mr. Shin here cannot stop walking people. Stop me if you've heard that before. So Mr. Young Woo Shin goes to the minors. And maybe call up Jun Young Choi. We'll try that. Give him some middle relief work. Okay, this is getting better. This is getting better. His shared aloft. Oh no, sorry, it was Lee. That's really bad. He's got such a narrow margin for error, but it's so weird that he's walking so many hitters. Like, it's literally killing this team to have him pitching this poorly. We need another upgrade in the rotation. We just do. That way I can say send Lee down to the minors, work out some of these issues. Is there a young starter who's ready for an opportunity? Not really. Like, I've got some high ceiling starters, but they're not getting better. I mean, they're getting a little bit better. I should be more honest with you. They are getting a little bit better, but they're still a far cry from being top tier. The other issue is I can't add salary. I wonder what it cost me to get Mr. Yang here. Very little. Yeah, done. And I'm gonna make good on my threat. I'm gonna send Young Jun Lee to the minors to figure out his shit. We're gonna skip on down to the trading deadline. I haven't looked at the lineup at all, have I? Pardon me. I've just been assuming it's been perfect, but maybe I'm wrong. It definitely hasn't been perfect. We're getting huge struggles from some players that should be better. Seijin Cho going from being worth 5 wins to being worth 2 is not a great look. Matt Davidson has been a bust. Especially given the amount of money we're paying him. I can't have this. I can't have a player who only hits home runs and doesn't do the rest of the job. I don't know how we're first in runs scored. I truly don't, given how obviously flawed many of my hitters are. Thank goodness for Park and No. Mr. Kim here has actually been pretty positive. He's actually been a pretty solid player. He's handling center field with a decent bit of skill. Is it just a bad year for offense across the board? Maybe. Like, the only exceptional hitter this season... Well, I guess Kim here isn't playing poorly. No, there's actually just a bad offense if you look at that. That's almost 100% OPS. If we sort by OPS plus... Here you go. That's hilarious. I guess it's just not a very good offensive year. Um, a shout out to Choi. He's actually been a really good hitter. I think we need to find him a spot, and he might end up getting a park spot. So two things immediately are going to happen this year. I am not trading Park, or am I? Oh, if we traded Park and then put Choi in as the DH. Oh, that could be really good. That could be really good. Would that fuck up the vibes too much? No, nobody cares about Park. What if I did offer him up for a talented rookie? You're only a power hitter. You don't really have another tool in your tool belt. Do-Yoon Kim is a fantastic pitcher. Why the fuck is he not pitching? Done. And then we need to send down a pitcher. Not Hoon-Jeon. Dong-Soo Park can go to the minors. And we'll call up Mr. Lee here. But to be clear, Choi is going to be the DH now. He's been a phenomenal hitter all year, and I think he deserves a chance to show what he can do. Generate me some depth charts. This all looks good. Pitching wise, you instantly become the setup guy. Sorry, not the setup guy. Middle reliever used more often. And then I'm going to take the use more often handle off of you. Like, you're just a really good pitcher, and the fact that you haven't gotten a ton of time is just wild to me. We did keep Choi, which is good. No got player of the week. Brilliant. Oh, sorry, I'm going to make a really quick change to the game settings here that I'll explain here in just a second. We want options. No, not options. Is it a global setting? It's not a global setting. Optiones. Is it a rule? Yeah, here you go. No. I just don't think this adds any value in... I don't think this adds any value for the KBO franchise because trading just it doesn't happen that often. It does happen a little bit, and I've been doing most of it, but it doesn't happen a lot. I really need Freddie Tarnock to go bananas on this league. I think that's going to be a key to our continued success, is getting that frontline starter who can dominate games when we need them to be dominated. Because the fight is real. The fight is real. Okay, so we can get Minwoo Park back. How has Mr. Kim handled second base? He's actually one of our better players of late. Oh, and we get Koo back. Nice. Oh, Hio literally has started one game. I'm gonna send... Why has your ability dropped? Because you're losing control. That's not great. Yeah, Choi can go. Kubak. Um... Can I trade Minwoo Park at this point? Would anybody give me anything for him? I strongly suspect the answer to that is no. It wouldn't. I'm gonna let you rehab. And we'll figure out what to do then, because I don't want to think about it right now. What are you talking about? Oh, really? Okay. I'm just gonna flat out send him to the minors for right now. And then the next thing that I'm gonna do is cry. No. Is update the rotation to let Ku back into it. Let me put you back in the pen with Ku back in the rotation, and we'll see how this works out. Okay. I would give you $1, but you want a giant raise that's just not coming. Like, I'm just not gonna do that. That would be silly. I wish we could move Park. I truly do. The second baseman. Because I think the new guy's doing fine. And I want that salary off my books so that I have the flexibility to keep other people around. I don't care. Nobody's gonna trade for him because of his ridiculous contract. It does thankfully get lower, which is nice. Like, I'm not complaining about that part, but like, let me just make sure before I do anything drastic that Kim is in fact playing at a high level. Okay, he is. He's actually playing at a pretty high level. If I eat half of his salary, does that get me any consideration? Okay, adding G-Man Choi would be a pretty helpful boost to our lineup, especially if we then turned around and got rid of Matt Davidson. I think we do this. I'm gonna start walking back this and see if I can do it for less money. Okay. If I can eat 35% of his salary and get an upgrade at first base too, done. That just makes sense to me. And then Matt Davidson, he's actually been hitting better of late, hasn't he? Damn it. That's fine. . 。  . 。 . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . 。 . . . . . . . Choi has been such a good hitter this year. I cannot send him to the minors. I refuse. Oh, god damn it, Davidson. You had to start hitting better. I could probably get rid of my 10,000 outfielders. Yeah, I'm going to send down Lee. If I do generate depth chart... Oh, then you're perfectly happy to let Choi... Ah, here's what's happening here. G-Man Choi then is DHing fairly regularly. I don't mind that. Let's do every 4 games for Choi. Let's get them both in the lineup pretty regularly. Because what's going to happen is Davidson isn't coming back. Like, I'm not bringing him back no matter what. So then we can let Mr. G-Man Choi shift over to first. Or even let one of these guys play first, essentially. It doesn't really matter which one to me. As long as they're both providing useful offensive skills. Guys, I'm content with this trading deadline. I don't really see anything else that I would consider. Yeah. Most importantly, that has cleared off a significant portion of salary, and I'm actually pretty pleased about that. I'm actually really pleased about that. Hey, then you can just... Oh, wow, they can both get injured. That's fantastic news. Thanks, game. Thanks. I love this for us. Yes. Now watch, fucking Zhangwan Choi is going to be out for, like, the rest of the season. Oh, he's completely fine. Great. Love that for us. Let's go ahead and just skip on down to the draft. One other thing I'm gonna do, sorry. One other thing. Rules. I'm turning off expanded rosters. Why? Because it's fucking stupid. Right now, it kicks in on September 1st, which is literally 3 days toward the end of the regular season. We either need to move it earlier in the year or just not use it at all. I think not using it at all is perfectly fine. So yeah, we're good with that. Oh, that's a shame. That is one shame. And then you're just going to be generic middle reliever, and you get promoted to setup guy. Oh, no, I could use him as a stopper. I'm cool with that. Let's blow this guy's arm out. He's real fucking good. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. The pitching does seem to be normalizing a bit, which I think is really helpful. Very helpful indeed. See if we score lots of runs and also stop them from scoring lots of runs. That just sounds like good baseball strategy to me. Are you shitting me, Choi? You've done nothing. At all. Get your shit together. What am I looking for in the draft? I'm looking for elite pitching talent. I think that's what I'm looking for. A really great pitcher that can eventually become a headline starter. I think that's the most critical thing that we need to be our best. Wow, sucks to be the Bulldogs or the Sunbirds. Who's out for 4 to 5 months? Of course he is. You know what, dude? Fuck you. Okay? Just stop. I don't know why you're made out of broken glass, but you're literally the worst. I can bring you back. And then, who's going to be the starter now? Probably Junho Lee, just because I need somebody that I can... Maybe not? Definitely not you because of your control. I think it's sensible in the bullpen, but not so much rotating. And the rotating, and the rotation. You're not like you're slowly rotating. I mean, Junho Lee is the obvious choice, right? Like, that's the obvious choice. Maybe there's an even better choice. If I starter you, what do you look like? You actually look just as good, if not slightly better. So yes. My good friend here, Mr. What's-His-Face, Jun Young Yoon, is going to be our new starting pitcher. There you go. Hey, Tarnock got a shutout. Nice. I would trade Kim, or yeah, Koo for a bucket of baseballs. Not even good baseballs. I would trade them for used baseballs. Because he... You know, saying he's made out of glass is an insult to glass. He's made out of paper. He's made out of tissue paper. He's made out of tissue paper. Alright. Let's do this. Let's get ourselves a great player. Alright, we have to consider Mr. Kim here. There is a lot to like about this gentleman. He throws super hard, which is rare in the KBO. One second. Sorry about that. Yeah, so he's the pick. He's also left-handed and he throws this hard. Like, holy fuck, man. Done. Never an easier choice for me. Okay. Let's talk second round pick. It looks like there's 3 interesting players as far as our scouts is concerned. So we have Yoon Boom Hyun, who looks like a top tier catching prospect defensively and offensively. He's a really good pick. This is the kind of player that I always fall in love with. The guy who's a slap hitter. I don't know why. I don't like them in real life. Like, I fucking can't stand some of the Guardians players because they do this shit. I love Stephen Kwan. I hate Miles Straw. Anyway, I don't think he's a good fit, though. Because a lot's going to have to go right for him to actually achieve this level, and he's not a center fielder. He's a corner guy. Ha-Ju Myung is another interesting player because he's got the potential to be a real ball destroyer because he's got elite power, very good contact, and discipline. He could be a really great player too. However, when you can pick between an elite corner outfielder and an elite catcher, you pick the catcher. I mean, I know that it's certainly no guarantee that he develops in an effective way, but I feel pretty likely that he will. So we're going to 1,000% take him. Alright, let's look at Mr. Because I do want to have more pitching talent. Let's look at Mr. Dongju Kim. He's got good stuff. And he's got potentially 1++ pitch and 2 other plus pitches. Not great stamina. His margin for error is going to be razor thin. Absolutely razor thin. Because he's going to have to be a massive strikeout guy. He's got to strike people out at comically huge rates like he did in high school to be a good major league pitcher. I don't know that he has that in him. And I'm not so desperate for starting pitchers that I'm going to pass up a great hitter for a starting pitcher that I don't think is going to pan out. Kim can play center field. I don't love his error proneness. He's an okay hitter. I think he's worth taking just to get us a center fielder we can trust, potentially. Maybe. Neither one of these two really fill me with joy. Let's take Kim because he's got a little bit more upside. Just a little bit. Dongwon Kim is an easy choice. Like, I'm not even going to look at the other options. We're going to take him. He's a really good reliever. Like, the players at this level just aren't that exciting to me. They just aren't. I'm sorry. I'm going to let Neil Huntington take the rest of the draft. That's fine. I'm really excited about this kid, though. If he develops with any kind of speed, I think we found our ace. Like, our true homegrown ace that will be pitching very, very well indeed. We've clinched a playoff spot. That's cool. I like how we just get fucking raffle stomped by the second worst team in the league, like, just for fun. Nothing crazy's happened here. Cool. I'd love to get that number one seed, but I definitely can't guarantee it. A lot's going to depend on a little bit of luck. And I think, yeah, we ended the season in first. Congratulations to us. Very nice. It's not vying for my first Korean series. Oh, it is my first championship. That much is true. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna set the roster once we actually get to our spot in the season. Because remember, in the KBO, you basically get a bye to the Korean series if you were the best team in the league. And we got a 2020 player and the home run champ. Nice. Very nice. Play until next round. Yeah, my Dave said 31 home runs this year. Nice. And this series too. So the KT Wiz defeated the Samsung Lions, as they should. Harold Ramirez still playing in the big leagues. That's fun. Until next playoff round. Kawum thoroughly stomped the Wiz. Okay, it is Dinos versus Twins. So let's make sure our rotation is set. I want Choi, Tarnok, and Shin. Bullpen looks great. Lineup looks good. I'm not going to fuck with any of this. Good. Let's go. Why is Yang my number one pitcher? Oh, because I actually set that way. That's fine. Yang did have a pretty good year. So we're gonna try this out and see if we can. Well, we got Raffle stomped. That's not great. But we tied the series behind the excellent pitching of Mr. Choi. All right, Freddie, this is your moment. This is your moment to just flat out dominate. And you get your ass beat. A very narrow victory. Like, our biggest strength is our bullpen, but the problem is we're not even getting to the bullpen. Our starting pitchers are getting blown out of the water before the game can even begin. God damn it. Can we not? Like, this wasn't even the bullpen that fucked it up. It was... No, it actually was the bullpen. Fucking Do-yeon Kim gets pulled in and just instantly coughs up the lead. So far, exactly one of our pitchers has been great this postseason. That's actually been Choi. Is Choi rested? He is. So we're going to jump right to Choi. And Choi kept us in the game. So that question becomes, who starts Game 7? Who was our very best starting pitcher this year? It was Choi, followed by Tarnok, followed by Shin. I think it's got to be Tarnok. I think we have to give him the ball. I think we have to. I think it is mandatory. Because I just don't trust Yang. Not in a big situation. And Tarnok at least has a chance. So let's do it. Close my eyes. Don't want to look. Damn it! You know what? You guys got to Felipe. If you're able to be the best reliever in the major leagues, hats off to you. You came at my strength and you defeated it. So well done, you. That rain delay probably fucked us, though. I'm gonna be honest with you. It probably fucked us real hard. I mean, Tarnok wasn't great. He wasn't great. Here's what happened this series. None of the starting pitchers beyond Choi were good. And I know we won 3 games, but that was because of the bullpen. And it's just really frustrating that we got that close. And I can't even blame the AI. Like, I made the decision to start Tarnok. If we'd had even an average pitching performance, maybe we would have been better off. But, you can't say Matt Davidson was asleep at the switch. He did everything he could. No disappeared a little bit. But, damn it. I really thought this was our year, gentlemen, friends, countrymen. But alas, we were not so successful. We got to get this fixed. We got to get a rotation that's worthy of this lineup now. Now that we're starting to fix the lineup, the rotation needs to be fixed. A disappointing season, to be sure. I could technically manage these games because I am the manager, but I just don't find it that compelling. But I might do that if this happens again. But yeah, Tarnok was not great. Fuck the Twins. Fuck them in the ear. Oh great, I'm an OOTP god. That really helps me. I get a big new contract, so that's cool. Yeah, I'm not going to bid on none of these guys. They're just too expensive. Let's look at how the season broke down, and then we'll end the episode. So, Seijun Cho did indeed come back and showed that he is capable of great things, which is fantastic. We needed him to be a positive contributor, and he was. He did get off a really slow start, which hurt us initially, but he bounced back in a really big way. I mean, the only thing No did wrong was get hurt. That's the only thing he did wrong. He had a fantastic season. Yeah, he is the new Mr. The only other thing that hurt him was playing him in center field for even 1 minute. He wasn't a great right fielder either, but he was at least tolerable as a right fielder. We need to find a position for him where he'll stick and be amazing. Maybe pushing him to first base would be a great call. But other than that, I'm super pleased with No. Ju-Won Kim's offense declined a little bit, but he was still a great player and still worthy of being a franchise cornerstone, I think. But I do think there's a little bit more to him, and we could definitely use that. Matt Davidson was never worth what we paid him, but I am glad that we got 2 good seasons out of him, and he helped us make the playoffs. I do think we need a new first baseman, though. Jong-Won Choi just did everything we asked him to do. He was an on-base machine. He stole bases. He played second base without... He wasn't awful at it. He wasn't good, but he wasn't awful. He was a really solid player, and he needs to get a bigger role going forward. Ji-Hoo Kim is the heart of our defense. He is a really, really good shortstop, and I expect him to win his 2nd consecutive Gold Glove. Or Great Glove, excuse me. If his bat was anywhere near his glove, like even in the same zip code, I think he'd be something truly fantastic. We found our second baseman in Mr. Seung-Won Kim. He was a very strong hitter that got on base and hit for a bit of pop too. We love to see that. And he played a pretty competent second base. He's a good placeholder until that one youngster is ready to play in the big leagues. Hyung-Jun Kim had a pretty good season as catcher. Not as good as last year's. No, actually, yeah, about the same, actually. A little bit more pop this year, but also way more strikeouts. So... And then our center fielder had a pretty okay year. I don't think center field is settled either, though. Like, I think he's a good player, but I don't know that center field is necessarily his best position. So, and then we got good performances from pretty much everybody except for Hyung-Yul Park. But everybody else gave us at least something. So the question becomes, who is our first baseman next year? I can make a real case for it being No. I think No's somewhat limited glove in the outfield, maybe. But he did improve significantly at right field. So we'll figure that out. We need to figure out who our long-term answer at center field is, because I think Kim is fine, but I don't think he is the long-term answer, mostly because he's not very good at center field. We do have some talented young players who will eventually need a role on the team. Song Ho Kim is not a center fielder. He's a corner outfielder. Like, this guy's already got defense in spades. We just need to see him play in the minors and play with some level of skill. You are slowly getting better. Slowly. Let's look at the pitching. Because I think the pitching was one of our greatest weaknesses this season. We had one above average starting. We had one good starting pitcher. And I'm not going to say great. I'm going to say good. And that was Wante Choi. Which, you know, thank goodness we decided to acquire him in the offseason. Because we would have been really bad off if we hadn't. Freddie Tarnock was fine, but he choked when he was given the ball in a high-pressure situation. That's what I'm paying $1.8 million for. I'm paying for elite pitching, not he did okay pitching. Like, none of our pitchers was actively bad, but we also didn't have any one starting pitcher that really took the lead and said, this is my team. And let's be clear, they got significantly better when we upgraded the defense. We saw some real improvement once we fixed the defense. And Angel Felipe remains one of the best pitchers in the majors. Was it weird for him to shit the bed in the postseason? It was. But guys, for 600 grand, what the fuck do you want? He was absolutely sensational and a great player. We gotta upgrade the rotation. That is jobs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. We need a hoss. A great starting pitcher who can take over games. Maybe that's giving another opportunity to Mr. Lee here. Because this was fucking weird. Like his I'm gonna walk hitters like they're going out of style is something that defense can't fix. If you're not putting the ball in play, the defense doesn't help there. So hopefully we can figure that out. Because I do think he's got a reasonably good chance to be something interesting. We have a lot of corner outfielders. That is a problem. That is a problem. You could be so good. So yes, that is our number one concern in the offseason, is finding ourselves a starting pitcher who can anchor this rotation and take us back to the postseason and hopefully get us over the hump. Koo is not that pitcher. Koo can't stay fucking healthy at all. I don't know why he's even considered wrecked. He should be like injury proneness dead at this point. Because he literally cannot stay healthy. It is impossible for him to stay healthy. If he had been healthy, I mean, I guess it could have shut him down the regular season and saved him for the postseason. That would have been an interesting tactic. But we need starting pitching quite badly. In contrast to what I said in the Friday series about how I think starting pitchers over 30 are overpaid in Major League Baseball, like as a rule, they're probably underpaid in the KBO because of the way arbitration works, which means players typically don't make huge salaries. So, got some shit to figure out, that's for certain. And figure it out we shall in the next episode. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the series. If you have, please remember to like and subscribe, comment down below, and until next time, this has been F Guardian. Thank you for watching, and I bid you good day.